it's Red Eye Radio, with talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok. This is Red Eye Radio.
Across America, it's Red Eye Radio. I'm Chris Krok in for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. This is normally a best of weekend show, but we are live from right now all the way through with you because an attempted assassination on Donald J. Trump. Now, some people try to pull this crap, and they were trying to pull the idea that somehow the president this was just an incident. That was the first what it was first called, is an incident by the Biden administration, by the FBI and all that stuff, when we watch an attempted assassination right in front of our very eyes.
And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
I'm not going to play the 2.5-minute video. You've heard it all ad infinitum. This is the first attempted assassination or assassination attempt in several years, decades, and I will be shocked. We now know it is a 20-year-old man. I have his identity right here. It's been released. It's been vetted. Matthew Krooks. 20-year-old from, he lived 40 miles south of the Butler rally in Pennsylvania, Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. And I saw also that he graduated with high honors, I believe, in math and science. And I am convinced that, or I am going to pure speculation here, but this guy's a smart dude. How much you want to bet this guy was radicalized liberal, leftist, Democrat? How much you want to bet we're going to find stuff on his social media feed saying horrible, horrific things that weren't banned on Facebook? You know, a lot of stuff on Facebook tonight's being banned. A lot of stuff that I put up nothing that was in the realm of, radical or this and that. And you should follow me, by the way, on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. But the idea this was an incident is complete BS, and it was BS the very moment we watched it with our own eyes. We have also grown to learn tonight, or this morning, I should say, that the attempted assassinator with a rifle, and we now know it's an AR-type rifle, which does not mean assault rifle, it means Armalite. There's no such thing as an assault rifle. He got an AR-15 type of a gun. He had it in his freaking hand, and he climbed up the side of that building. And everybody saw it, and everybody was screaming about it and going nuts about it. And what happened? We have now video of a Secret Service sniper looking at the guy as he was squaring up and getting ready to shoot and try to kill President Donald J. Trump. And the guy got off a couple of shots before he was allowed to get shots off. It appears under the freaking watch of a Secret Service sniper. All this is on my Twitter feed at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. And we have so many people who have come forward and said, I was pointing at the man who tried to kill President Trump. I was pointing at him and said, there's a man on the freaking roof with a gun. I was screaming to local law enforcement and to the Secret Service. I was standing there pointing. And here he was in this now infamous or famous BBC interview.
And listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, in probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police are like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling police and the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
Many of us think that there was reluctance to actually act. A lot of people asking questions tonight also about was there somebody or something, was this some kind of an intentional decision to let things go a little bit? Was there a possible decision with the Secret Service? We also have some other information tonight. The Secret Service has rebuffed requests in a report I have. Secret Service rebuffed requests to up the Secret Service of guarding of President Trump. And there's another thing here. The head of Secret Service is a woman who was Biden's detail as vice president. He liked her so much that he put her in charge of the Secret Service, and her main goal was simply to, it's Kimberly Cheadle, U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, handpicked by Biden because she used to be on his VP detail. Her tenure is notable from her abject failure to, 1, protect the agents who were savaged by those dogs repeatedly over several months, to discover who owned the cocaine in the White House. But the big one is, did she literally refuse more resources for President Trump? Was she the one who said no? We know they also in the Biden administration have refused to offer Secret Service protection for RFK Jr., which is appalling. But for Trump, I have some reports, and I'll be sharing the details with you in a little bit, that have come out saying that, in fact, the Secret Service has denied their request to get more protection for President Trump. And I'm going to tell you something tonight when I watch this. And I want you to call in, too. Our lines are wide open for you at 866-90-RED-EYE. That's 866-907-3339. But I'm going to tell you right now, my reaction was horror and terror and tearing up. And then I had anger. And I said, we're going to put that guy in the freaking dirt. And I at that time, I meant death penalty. But I'm glad to find out, as we all know now, his head was blown up like a melon. from the Secret Service snipers, which is exactly what should happen. By God's grace, it grazed him. There's a picture of a bullet whizzing. Physically, you can see a streak, right next to President Donald J. Trump's face, to the left of him. He said he heard that, and then he grabbed his ear because he was shot. That's where it pierced his ear. And it looks like another bullet had grazed him on his lip cheek, kind of lip and cheek area, somewhere around there. So I think that was 2 bullets that almost hit his head. Do you understand? And he moved his head in a split second. I've got that on my Twitter feed as well. You can see that. But he moved his head like that when he was hit in the ear, I believe, and the second shot whizzed right next to him and pierced his the other side. This guy was shooting with an AR-15, is what it appears to be, and what reports are. And he was between 50. I really heard 150 yards. And I understand that our AR is, and I have one scoped out and everything with a red dot thing and all that stuff, and up to 300 yards is what I heard this evening. I'm not an expert, but I heard that. And so he was about 150 yards. And why was the Secret Service allowed a freaking building to be open 150 yards looking down on the President of the United States of America, who will hopefully be our next president? I'm hearing from one of the people watching me on my Facebook page, at Chris Krok Show, CHRASKROK. You can see me broadcasting from my studio, Facebook Live, and that ABC referred to it as a disturbance. It's unbelievable. I also have a report of CBS, and I'll play this coming up. CBS Chief Foreign Affairs correspondent for Face the Nation, Margaret Brennan, said, she literally said, look at this. She said, of the Trump shooting, the GOP reaction will raise further concern of violence. But she said some nasty stuff as well, misinterpreting or carrying out further acts of political violence. I'm going to be playing some audio of Joe Biden just recently inciting violence against Trump, including a tweet that he deleted tonight. Joe Biden said, "I have one job, and that's to defeat Donald Trump. I'm absolutely certain I'm the best person to be able to do that. So when we're done talking about this debate, it's time to put Trump in a bullseye." Well, Joe, somebody did that for you today. And people have been saying they're going to want to assassinate Donald J. Trump. They're going to try to assassinate him. You watch. And I've never thought that was true. I never thought that would happen, but we saw it. And then the question also is this a setup? Did the Secret Service purposely deny the proper amount of detail for him? Did the Secret Service people attached to this team somehow be a little more lax because they want this man to go bye-bye? This is insane. And I'm glad Congress is bringing a full investigation in a week from this Monday. And Trump walked down off of the Trump Force One plane tonight, and he is good. He went to a hospital in Pittsburgh. He was checked in. They saw him. They treated him, and he was checked out. And that warrior went on Trump Force One, and he flew to Doral, I believe, his home there in New Jersey at the golf course, I believe is where he's at tonight. And he flew there, and he was walked down that plane, not on the little boy stairs. He walked down on big boy stairs with no assistance, and he waved. This man has been rattled. It was an attempt on his life. I'm going to tell you something else. I saw a bullet. This is on my Twitter feed. I saw a bullet hole on his chest and on where one of his breast pockets are for the sport coat he was wearing. And they always make presidents, when they speak, wear a bulletproof vest. By God's grace, it's wisdom. It hit there. And I'm going to tell you right now why Trump had trouble for a second getting up and why he was struggling a little bit was because if he was, as it looks, struck by a bullet right there in his chest, which is the picture I saw there, if he was, I used to be on in Atlanta, and I was there, and I had a cop who had gotten to a man tried to kill him on a traffic stop, and he was point blank, pointed the gun right at him and shot him right in the chest. And he said it felt like he came on my show for an hour and gave an exclusive interview with me. He said it felt like being hit in the chest full on with a sledgehammer. That's what it feels like when you get hit by in a bulletproof vest by a bullet. Okay? Imagine a rifle. A .223 or 5.56 is what that rifle was shooting. That is a powerful weapon. So powerful, it's why you don't use an AR-15 when you're defending your home. It's why, for me, I use a handgun. Shotgun's also good. Don't use your AR-15. It'll go through your wall and hit to your neighbor's wall and go into it, and it'll hit somebody in there if somebody's in there possibly. Not good for defense. Very powerful. Much more powerful than a 9mm. So that's what he was hit with, it appears. And this is insane. And for anybody that these SOBs, people were praising the Secret Service today for hours. And I was like, what are you doing? They failed. What are you praising the Secret Service for? They freaking failed. All right. Now, let's take your call. 866-90-RED-EYE is our number. That's 866-907-3339. Across America, it's Chris Krok filling in for Eric and Gary on Red Eye Radio.
This report is brought to you by Shell Rotella. With advanced synthetic technology, is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance. On a hot summer day, the last thing you want to feel is a blast of warm air when you turn on your air conditioning. A malfunctioning AC system will leave you uncomfortably shifting in your seat. Not to mention, it can affect the safety and performance of your entire vehicle and your productivity. Keep your AC system running smooth and your deliveries on schedule this summer with the following maintenance tip. Replace your cabin filters at least once a year, as dirty cabin filters are possibly the most common cause of AC system malfunction, or worse, failure. Replace your cabin filters more frequently if you operate in a dirty or humid environment.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
All right, President Trump's statement tonight. I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania, Trump says. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed. I should mention that we want to make sure we know there was a man who was killed. Ronnie Jackson, the physician from the White House and congressman from Texas, was his nephew was shot in the neck, but he is going to survive. We have the terrorist was shot and killed. We have a man who was shot and killed in the Trump rally, and another couple people who were wounded. It's insanity, guys. Going on with Trump's statement, he goes, and I also want to pray for the family of the person that was badly injured. It's incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong, that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place. That's when I realized what was happening. God bless America. That's President Trump. And the incitement from the Democrats is insane. I'm going to play so much audio, but first I want to take your calls at Red Eye Radio. We have two lines open for you at 866-907-3339, 866-907-3339. You can watch me live on Facebook at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. And let's go to Howard in Burlington, Vermont. Howard, you're on Red Eye Radio. Chris in for Eric and Gary. Hello.
Hey, Chris. I'm Howard, and I'm in Burlington, Iowa.
Yes.
Firstly, I want to say thank you for coming on tonight, and the producers of Red Eye Radio for opening up the show to give America a voice. I'd like to start with saying, God bless Joseph R. Biden, God bless Donald J. Trump, and God bless the United States of America. After an incident like what occurred to Donald J. Trump today, adrenaline is released in the body and about 10 other super hormones, and you're jacked up. So when President Trump stood up after being shot and was defiant and strong, raising his fist and saying, fight, 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 that was fantastic.
Yes, I got to roll, brother, but yes.
Thing.
Yes, it was beautiful. Thank you. We're going to continue on that coming up next on Red Eye Radio across America.
Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios. Now, for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok.
Red Eye Radio. I'm Chris Krok in for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. We usually have a best of, but I am privileged and honored to fill in on the night of the attempted assassination of one of the greatest presidents we have ever had and may ever have, Donald J. Trump. And it's so important to note, too, but lines are wide open for you to call in as well at 866-90-RED-EYE. That's 866-90-RED-EYE. Donald J. Trump was, it appears there was a bullet on the chest, too. If you look at it, the photo's on my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. That same handle for Facebook. You can watch me live right now at Chris Krok Show on Facebook, ChrisKrok. But the picture shows what looks like a bullet hole on his chest, where he undoubtedly is wearing, like all presidents when they are at a public speaking event, a bulletproof vest. If that is true, that would also understand why he stood up and he said, wait. He said 3 times, get me my shoes, I want to get my shoes on, because he wanted to walk. His instinctual behavior kicked in to be a winner and a fighter. And he stood up and he pumped his fists and he mouthed, fight, fight, fight. And that is not a scripted event. That is, he did not fall down because he is frail and weak and mentally challenged, like our current president. He fell down because he was shot by a terrorist who's probably a sycophant of the left. We don't know yet. We know who he is. As I mentioned, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. He is a scholar, according to the New York Post. Says that he graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022. Here's footage of him accepting his diploma at a commencement. Crooks received the National Math and Science Initiative Star Award for academic achievement. I'm going to speculate here that he's radicalized leftist who probably loves him some MSNBC et al. Okay? We don't know, but that's what I'm going to speculate at. Tonight, UFC fighter Evan Elder speaks out.
Hey, I heard they just tried to whack my boy Trump. I'm glad that man's okay. Long live Trump. Let's go, baby. Trump 2024.
Oh, that's great. So that was nice to hear. Moments after someone tried to murder President Trump, a CNN analyst says this garbage. Ready? That just listen.
Donald Trump and the people around him perceive themselves to be under threat, and that's all that matters. That is not legitimate. That is wrong. You hear the screams from the audience. People are terrified.
So these folks and Donald Trump believe themselves to be under threat. That's not legitimate. Excuse me, ma'am. One is dead tonight. Was dead within almost instantly, it appears. You'll hear from a man who tried to keep him alive and bring him back in a little bit. Well, what do you mean people should not be fearing? Somebody's dead. Because the Secret Service, who we're finding out tonight, look at this, Mayorkas denied repeated requests. I'm holding it up so you can watch it on my Facebook Live video right now at Chris Krok Show Facebook. Mayorkas denied repeated requests for more Secret Service protection for Trump. GOP lawmaker says. Mike Walls, Republican from Florida, said that tonight, hours after he was shot. I have reliable sources telling me there have been repeated requests for stronger Secret Service protection for President Trump, denied by Secretary Mayorkas. This is all going to go in front of Congress in a week and a half after the convention. All right, one line open at 1-866-90-RED-EYE, 866-90-RED-EYE. It's Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary tonight in a special edition, a weekend edition with the attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump. Let's go to Rachel in Plano, Texas. You're live on Red Eye Radio. Hello, Rachel.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Hey,
thanks for calling in.
I lived in Plano, but I lived in Butler for 15 years.
Wow.
And, and I'll tell you what, this guy, the shooter, he's not from Butler. Bethel Park is on South Pittsburgh. Butler is kind of like McKinney to Dallas. It's, almost the same distance. But Butler is red. Mike Kelly is.
Well, for people
Butler.
that don't live in one
dealership
second. For people that don't live in Dallas, because we're all over the country tonight, that's about 30 minutes to that's about 40 minutes north of downtown Dallas. So that's kind of suburb, she's saying, or exurb that it is, or a small town outside of the city of Pittsburgh.
Exactly. Yes. It's about 45 minutes north of Pittsburgh. McKinney is about 45 minutes north of Dallas.
But anyways, what's your point, though? What's your point?
Okay, so anyway, yeah, Butler is very conservative. Where this guy is totally different. And, the libtards out there are hardcore. I mean, when Trump won in 2020, or 2016, they went absolutely crazy out there. And so this is not surprising in any way, shape, or form that he is from Bethel Park or from South Pittsburgh.
Because of the fact that it's a very liberal area, you're thinking, or no?
Yeah, when they said that they were doing the rally up in Butler, I was like, okay, so that makes complete and total sense. It's going to be huge, and it was. But the farm show, everybody knows where this farm show is because it's one of the big things that Butler does. And yeah, it's close. It's close enough to where, and small enough to where I'm sure there was probably, just that whole opportunity for this guy to go out there and
I blame the Secret Service. I blame the Secret Service, who apparently also Trump campaign was rebuffed for more help from Mayorkas. I'm not surprised. And lastly, but not least, breaking a source. This is from the Federalist. Source familiar with Trump's detail tells the Federalist that the former and future president's detail has been asking for beefed-up protection and resources for weeks, but has been rebuffed time and time again by Biden's DHS. That would be Mayorkas, as Fox News reported tonight. DHS, which oversees Secret Service protective detail, wasn't responsive to the requests for more resources. The source told the Federalist, was Biden regime behind the attack, or did it deliberately do everything it could to allow it to happen? I would not be surprised. Would you? And number two, I have no confidence in the FBI, who's now holding this investigation and continuing to say, it's under investigation, can't comment. Do you have any faith in the Secret Service or FBI with this? And do you believe that the administration did deny Trump more protection recently?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I believe it. And, it's so open out there. It's ridiculous that they didn't have somebody on top of the roof.
Well, why do they have Secret Service? Why did they have, on the window manufacturing plant, why did they have Secret Service snipers looking at this guy, watching him, and look. He had his in the video we've seen. He's got his eye in the scope, and then he's up, and then the guy shoots 2 or 3 times and hits Trump, and then the guy goes, he jumps, Secret Service, and then goes back down right into his right, like one. He just puts his head down a few more inches, squares up again to shoot. So this is insanity we're watching. And there's no excuse. And I do not praise the Secret Service tonight. I'm ashamed of them. I'm disgusted in them. All right, Rachel, thanks for your call. Let's go to Rob in Missouri. Rob, you're on Red Eye Radio. Chris in for Eric and Gary. Hello, Rob. 1 second, Rob. There we go. Go ahead. Go ahead. Start over again. Go ahead. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Well, I've been pretty fired up. I mean, I was watching it live as it happened. I was watching on YouTube, so maybe different angles. But the big thing was when they started interviewing people as they were walking by, as they were basically evacuating the entire area. There was talks of a guy that was on the ground trying to warn the police because the guy, he was already looking at the shooter. So they were trying to warn them. I really, in my mind, I don't see how this thing couldn't have been set up. And it's a miracle that Trump is alive. I mean, we're talking an inch. Half inch?
It was a couple about 2 millimeters.
Hannity, I heard they just tried to whack my boy.
Hold on, sorry. Somebody tonight said on Fox News, Hannity did, that it was 2 millimeters away, and from hitting him, 2 millimeters off. And if that's accurate, then I mean the Secret Service is responsible for this, and the Secret Service almost got the president killed. Go ahead.
Well, I think that I call this a failed attempt, and the thing is who's behind it. I don't believe this kid, sneaks past all these people and gets into a firing position. okay, with nobody noticing. I mean, it's just absurd to even think that. I mean, to say that the Secret Service is that incompetent, that doesn't make sense. Even more than how this guy's able to get into such a secure area. These things
with a visible rifle, crawling up a building, sitting there, scoping up, and not getting popped in the head like a watermelon until after he gets the job done. Oops, he missed by a few millimeters. I ain't buying this either. Thank you for your great call, Rob. Appreciate you. Now, let me play you some audio. This is one of the many clips coming out tonight. This is all on my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. Here it is.
I hope he's turning this way. Be careful, guys.
But it's important. I want you to listen again. This is several seconds, maybe 5-10 seconds of screaming and yelling and run before the shots were fired, and the Secret Service did nothing. I mean, this is filthy disgusting, and there's no excuse. I'm going to continue playing audio like that throughout the show here. Let's go now to Ken in Arlington, if we have time. Ken, you're next on Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary. Go ahead, Ken in Arlington, Texas.
Hey, Chris. Hey, do we know the bullet that grazed Trump is the one that killed the one at the rally, or was it friendly fire from Secret Service?
I don't know. I don't know the exact position of the man who was killed. I haven't seen the exact position on a diagram. If somebody has it, you can tweet it at me, at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok on Twitter. But I would assume so, because this man was very accurate. And an AR-15 is not the right kind of gun to do this, in my humble opinion, and I'm not an expert. I own an AR, and I own several other guns, but I in my opinion, you would want something that was extremely accurate, like a rifle that would work. I had Chris Kyle on my show before he died, the late, great Chris Kyle, the author of American Sniper and the Hero, and he was which told me so many stories on the air, and it was like you could square up and pop a head like a watermelon from a mile away. I mean, that's the kind of accuracy they can have.
That means that this guy went to a gun range. I mean, in order to take that shot, that means you would have had to practice in order to take that shot.
Can you imagine somebody who's in fatigues? He's in fatigues. He's clearly not with them, and he's squaring up, and he's crawling outside of a building, and he's 150 yards from the freaking president, and he's on top of a building. Everybody saw him. Again, I'll play more audio of it. It's ridiculous. It's obscene.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any faith in the FBI? Do you have any faith in the FBI? Do you have any faith in the Secret Service? Do you believe the Secret Service intentionally was Mayorkas intentionally denied more assistance from the Trump campaign after they requested it several times this past several weeks?
Not since you mentioned that lady was handpicked. So
yes, she was. I'm not saying she intentionally got the president killed, but I'm saying she's incompetent. The number one thing she said she was going to do is make the 30% of the workforce in the Secret Service women. Not, I'm going to hire the best. I'm going to hire a bunch of Kamalas, maybe. If they apply and they're Kamala Harris, and all I talk about is the passage of time, the passage of time. Cackling Kamala. If they hired 30% cackling Kamalas, then well, I'm not surprised what we saw today. It's disgusting. It's enraging. It's horrifying. All right, your call right now. We've got a few lines open. 866-90 Red Eye across America. It's Red Eye Radio. I'm Chris Krok in for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
Here's what I got, guys. I have the best video of people yelling, and you will hear 8 seconds going by of panic and yelling, he's got a gun, and nothing is done. Let him take his shots. It feels like, I don't know, but it sure feels like it. Here we go.
And you know, that's a little bit... He's going down!
So those last shots, that do-do-do-do-do, that's got to be Secret Service bursting his head open like a melon. And we have a diagram from a listener who sent into my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show, CHRASKROK, and it shows the diagram, and you see Trump on the angle to the terrorist who's been deceased and killed, Thomas Matthew Crooks. I got more information on him a moment ago. I'll share with you coming up a little bit later. But and then you see the angle from the Secret Service is equidistant from Trump. It's at a slightly different angle. We continue with this on Red Eye Radio. It's Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary.
Top of the Hour News is brought to you by House Products. Visit houseproducts.com.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now it's Red Eye Radio with talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or just starting your day, welcome to the show from the Uniden America Studios. For Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok. This is Red Eye Radio.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
The attempted assassination of Donald Trump tonight. This was not an incident. This was not a act of this or that. It was an assassination attempt to kill our president in cold blood, our hopefully next president. Joe Biden, our current president, said, "I have one job, and that's to beat Donald Trump. I'm absolutely certain." He said this on July 13th. No. This was tweeted on July 13th. He said this last week. I'm absolutely certain I'm the best person to be able to do that, to beat Trump. So we're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. What else did he say? You ready for this one? This was at a rally. I don't know the exact date, but listen to this. This is going to be breathtaking. Here we go.
Most importantly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to this nation.
Trump's a threat to this nation. What should you do to a threat to the nation? Well, you should neutralize him. How about when somebody's Hitler? You should neutralize him. Who would have a problem with assassinating Hitler? Listen to this.
And it is just unquestionable at this point that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
Well, you guys had it happen today. Unfortunately, it didn't work like always. God protected President Trump, and here he is. And he's stronger than ever. Pollster Frank Luntz, who I'm not a fan of in any way, shape, or form, since he did some really, I don't like the guy at all, but he's right on some things. Here's what he wrote tonight. In the end, voters will settle down and return to their candidate of choice. The people who move forward towards Trump out of sympathy will probably move back, but there's a but. What happened in PA will definitely impact the final vote, guaranteeing that every Trump voter will actually vote. Biden on or any other candidate the Democrats put up will not have the same participation or certainty. The participation gap is worth at least 1% and could be as much as 2%. And because it happened in Pennsylvania, the impact will be the highest right there. This is awesome. This doesn't guarantee Trump flips Pennsylvania, but the long and winding road for Joe Biden just became even longer and windier, just as what happened to St. George Floyd, blessed be his name, had a lasting impact on the tens of millions of Americans. The shooting of Donald Trump will be significantly consequential in a way the shooter never intended. That's always how it works when you try to take him into jail through lawfare or assassinate him. He yelled, "Fight, fight, fight." And you're going to hear criticism from the left on the media, fake news, CNN, criticizing him for saying that. That kind of rhetoric is bad, quote unquote. What I want to say, I can't say on the air, but I can use an old Jewish Yiddish saying, which in English is "Go take a crap in a lake." There you go. All right, let's go to our next caller. Let's go to Kevin in Birmingham, I should say, Alabama. Kevin, you're on Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary tonight.
Hey, yeah, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, to lay the blame on, the responsibility on who feels this level of hate. I don't hear much about it, but you got to put the blame on the media, don't you? I mean, have you listened to MSNBC the last couple of years?
Oh, yeah. Here, let me play another one. This is from MSNBC. Let me play another one. This is I think she's from Democrat, Stacey Plaskett, Democrat delegate to the U.S. House of Representatives. Listen to this.
Having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it in his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped.
Shot stopped.
Yeah. That's all they do. They dedicate themselves to stopping and eliminating Trump. For the last couple of years, that's all they do. They dedicate 24/7 to eliminate Trump, calling him Hitler, racist, and everything. 24/7. That's all they do. That's all their broadcast is all about. And, you get a lunatic to listen to this crap, all the lies, and it's going to affect some idiots. And then that's what happens. They need to be held responsible. I mean,
I believe the media is responsible, but I also believe the Secret Service is most responsible. I believe we know tonight reports from Mayorkas and the Federalist, repeated requests for more Secret Service protection from Trump is what Mike Walz, Congressman, says. They denied it. Mayorkas denied it. Second of all, the lady in charge of the Secret Service was Biden's vice presidential detail, Kimberly Cheadle. She did not have anything that I'm aware of qualifications that beyond her service. And her main goal was to hire 30% women. Obviously, if it's a bunch of cackling Kamalas, then that would be fine. That would fit the bill perfectly.
Right.
If you're
Mayorkas needs to go. That's for sure. I mean,
Biden needs to go because he doesn't fire anybody. He doesn't fire generals or anybody with Afghanistan. He doesn't fire any of them. He will always keep them, and he doesn't give a frog's fat. You know what? I appreciate you very much, brother. Thank you very much for your call. Let's also go next to Mike in Idaho. Mike, you are on Red Eye Radio.
Yeah, I think first off, God bless Donald Trump, and my heart goes out to the people who are affected and hurt today and killed, because this is absolutely a black eye on our country. And when there's people in charge of our safety and in charge of the safety of the people who lead us, it needs to have a foundation of faith and trust. And we need to be able to rely on that, just like the medical community. We need to be able to rely on that foundation for this whole thing to work. And when you put the wrong people in power and you give them the opportunity to shape it in their image, not what's best for the country, but what's best for their ideals, we all suffer. And the FBI, the CIA, the ATF, all of these agencies at this point have been inundated with these bureaucrats, these appointed people who do not have your and my best interest at hand. As a matter of fact, they
correct. Yes, they do.
And it's
yes.
to a point.
Let's hear Joe Biden. I want you to finish your thought, but let's first hear Joe Biden at his blood red speech. Listen.
We must be honest with each other and with ourselves. Too much of what's happening in our country today is not normal. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front. Not every Republican, not even the majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology.
Just the 80-plus million of us who will vote for him and voted for him before. Yeah, go ahead.
It's more than that at this point. There's a lot of silent Trump supporters, that I can assure you, because you have to be in some parts of the country. And I don't blame people for keeping that to themselves. And it used to be growing up, you kept who you voted for to yourself. Now it's a rite of passage. So what I'll say is if we keep down this road, the greatest country on this planet is doomed. And the only person I see who legitimately can fix it, because he's outside of the grasp of these bureaucrats, these people, that they have inundated the system, is Donald Trump. And that scares them to a point where they are doing that, just like the guy said before, they are brainwashing people to see us as less than human.
Yes, that's a dehumanization. I agree. I agree. Thank you for your great call tonight. Let's go to Mike in Keller, Texas. Mike, you're on Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary.
My main man. Hey, what's going on?
How are you, brother? One of my local callers at News Talk. And by the way, if you want to follow me, you can listen to me on WBAP every evening. Just follow me at WBAP.com, and you can listen live. We're also simulcast, of course, over the country, over 400 stations tonight with Red Eye Radio. Go ahead with your call, Mike, and thank you for calling.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. But what I was going to say is that it faults on the Secret Service, because a rule of thumb that they normally have is that they secure all rooftops area around an area like that.
And look at this, one directly facing the president 150 yards away. They didn't. In fact, an man was openly allowed to square up and climb up and shoot and attempt to kill our president. Go ahead.
Right. And what I did, I sent you a nice picture of that young man. They got his right side. You know, he got his head marched to the right with a nice little drainage of blood, with leaning on the right-hand side. But he's now resting peacefully in his dirt nap. Well, he's prepared.
He's going to get a nice dirt nap. By the way, I have that picture as well on my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show, CHRISKRK. Amen on that part. Thank you.
I sent it to you a copy of it as well. But like
Thank
you
you.
said, and like I was saying, the point that the Secret Service is all over it. I mean, because the fact that they know they're supposed to secure all two rooftops of all buildings.
Do you believe the Secret Service did a good job?
No.
Do you think that they? Do you believe the reports tonight that Mayorkas has repeatedly turned down recent requests to get better, more detail for Trump? And do you believe the Secret Service may have played a part in maybe keeping their hand off him a little bit?
I'd say that more than upper management, than the foot soldiers that were down there doing the work. It kind of is an analogy of being an NCO that enlisted people as opposed to the officers. The officers sit back and watch and get all the good credit when things are good, but when it's bad, they like to cut and run.
I appreciate your call tonight, Mike. Always appreciate your call, brother. Take care and have a wonderful evening. Coming up next, we're going to talk to so many people, including you. If you haven't called in, there's a line open right now. It just came open. 866-90-RED-EYE. That's 866-907-3339. 866-907-3339. We continue. I've got more audio for you of Democrats inciting violence against President Trump, and we have so many things coming out. I'll keep you up to date on the latest, too, with President Trump and the assassination attempt of him. He is safe. He is alive. He was checked out of the hospital from Pittsburgh today at a level 1 trauma center after being treated, and is, I believe, in New Jersey tonight. And he walked off the big boy plane stairs and waved on the way down. He's clearly shaken. I repeat again, I had an Atlanta cop on my local show when I was in Atlanta about 18 years ago, and he had been shot at point blank. He returned fire at point blank and killed the terrorist that attacked him after a traffic stop. And it felt like a sledgehammer when he was shot right in the front with his ribcage with a gun at point-blank range with a bulletproof vest. Trump wearing one, it's probably even better. And it looks like there's a bullet hole. You'll see it on my Twitter feed. You'll see one of the pictures of it if you scroll down on his chest. If that's the case, he was really rattled because he felt like a sledgehammer pumped him in the chest. He's a freaking hero. He instinctually did it from his own instincts. He reacted, wanted to show strength and unity and fight, fight, fight. And you would never see that with Biden. He'd be on the ground down. And so one person got on the ground multiple times because he's impotent and fragile and mentally disabled. The other one got knocked to the ground because he was shot by a terrorist. Which one would you like our president to be? The leader with huevos, with cojones, who stands up and says, fight, 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 with blood on the side of his head? Or the other one who trips over sandbags, falls off a bike at a dead stop, falls going up the stairs, down the stairs, you name it. All right, coming up next, more audio, more information, and your calls on Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary on special edition Saturday night, Sunday morning, I should say. No. What? I don't even know what day. Yeah, Sunday morning edition of Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
Leased owner-operators should be aware of 4 common revenue myths, lest you fall into the trap of mistaking revenue for profit. Myth 1, concentrate on increasing revenue because costs will take care of themselves. This is not true, as costs are fundamental to the profit equation and the area where owners exert the most control to improve. Myth 2, more revenue per mile is the answer to all problems. Though carrier pay packages differ in structure, revenue per mile really doesn't change much from company to company. But there can be a big difference in miles, overall gross revenue, reimbursements, and fees. Myth 3, all you have to do to be successful is run a lot of miles. In reality, revenue is only half of the profit equation. Costs are the other half. It's possible to generate a lot of revenue, yet spend $1.10 to make every dollar. Myth 4, you can tell how well you're doing by the size of your settlement check. The settlement check is only a part of the success picture. Miles driven, loads hauled, conditions, mechanical problems, time off, and especially costs all have to be considered. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more details on this and many other topics. Brought to you by Shell Rotella, with advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
Across America, it's Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary on a special edition of Red Eye Radio live with the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. Let's listen to CNN attack Trump moments after the assassination attempt.
I do want to say there was one thing that when I watched the tape I found odd because of all of the heated rhetoric. And that is that after he was hit, former President Trump got up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think what we're hearing from people is that's not the message that we want to be sending right now. We want to tamp it down.
Yeah, I would just know one thing on this, to that point.
The man was shot in an assassination attempt. It appears a bullet on his chest that hit his vest, which feels like a sledgehammer. And this, I can't say what I want to call her, CNN fake news, Jamie Gangle, attacks Trump in the few seconds after he was attempted to be murdered. And she criticized him for, in shock, what he said, which is fight, fight. She's mad. He is a strong leader. The ultimate test just happened, and he stood up. He insisted, get me my shoes, get me my shoes, get me my shoes. And then he insisted, wait, you heard him, wait a minute. And he said, and he pumped his fist, fight, fight, fight. He showed his strength instinctually. And Dana Perino tonight on Fox News said that is exactly what is missing in this world. People see a strong leader who is bold and stands up and says, fight, fight, fight. And this is the other one who is a weak leader. And this bleepity bleep on fake news CNN criticizes Trump for saying, you don't criticize anybody in the moments after somebody tried to kill you and you took a bullet, it appears, to the chest with a bulletproof vest, and you took a bullet to the ear, piercing your ear. Radio is almost impossible to describe this, but I'm going to do it. And you can see it on my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show. That's at Chris Krok Show. I'm going to screen grab it and tweet it out, CHRASKROK. I'll do that in the next pause in the show here. about 10, 15 minutes or so, whatever it is, and then I'll screen grab it from the Daily Mail. It was on Trump's left at about, I would say at about 3 to 3:30. Okay, to his left. No, that's not 3:30. 9:30 to his left. 9:30 probably. Flanking him on his left, 400 feet from when Trump was hit. The bullet comes and it shot and killed a man. There's stands behind Trump. There's stands flanking him to the right and left behind him. Okay, and he was hit through the one flanking him to his right. The guy that was killed. That's what we got. Your call up next is Chris Krok in for Red Eye Radio Special Edition. We continue with your calls and more audio on Red Eye Radio next.
Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios. Now for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok.
Across America, it is Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary tonight. We have a very special edition of Red Eye Radio tonight in the attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump. And I'm certainly praying that this helps to launch him to presidency even more. It is unbelievable what we saw tonight. People who despise Trump even tonight saying, I just retweeted one guy who was saying that he said that, I despise him, but this picture of him pumping his fists is incredible and it should make everybody weep, is what he said, for the heroism in our country. And I agree. I could not agree more in that one. With that one. All right. So I'll be playing you some more audio here in just a little bit if my laptop would stop malfunctioning so I could play it. Well, I'll try to get that done for you in a little bit. All right, but let's get right to your calls as well. Lots of folks calling in here at 866-90 Red Eye. That's 866 I should say 90 Red Eye, 866-907-3339. Let's see who we have coming up next here on Red Eye. Okay. Let's go to John in Sacramento. John, you're on Red Eye Radio. Chris in for Eric and Gary.
Chris Krok, you're doing a great job. You're a great man.
Thank you.
This is outstanding journalism on your part.
Thank you.
And it's straight from the shoulder, hard-hitting journalism. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I have some equally prescient things to say, and some of it will sound kind of obscure, but I want to start with the woman in the blue shirt that said mean tweets, positioned immediately behind Trump. For her to get that plumb position on the camera took weeks of planning and getting there 3 hours early, and it was no coincidence that the one woman right behind the scene was saying subliminally, he deserved it, he made mean tweets. And if you look at her, she was looking at the shooter on the roof right before the shots rang out. And then when Trump was hit, she looked giddy with laughter and anticipation, like, goody, goody, it's happening. And then when she saw it was a miss, she got confused and sat down, and then she looked immediately over at the roof again. If you look at Margaret Brennan, CBS anchor, she was wearing a necklace that literally said SS, like Secret Service. And Trump is naive to say, thank God for the Secret Service. If you remember, Robert RFK was shot multiple times from the waist up his ribcage by his Secret Service detail agent. This is a fact that doesn't get reported often enough. And if you look at the way that the officers lingered and pretended they didn't hear this guy complaining about a man on the roof for 3 minutes. What do you mean there's a man on the roof? This is like Dealey Plaza. And a man from a high position, this should have been job one to have that roof covered. This is no doubt Joe Biden's attempt to kill his rival. And I would include Putin in the corner of this. And George Bush said it best, the New World Order is where we're going. And these are the people who are gaslighting us to say Trump is a threat to democracy. Trump is a threat to the New World Order destroying our democracy. And when you see it in that light, it has a whole new picture. And if you look at the media, they were all nonplussed and disappointed. Bob Costas had his eyebrows furrowed into a V. He was so anticipating the death.
Why would anybody give a frog's fat what about what that man thinks? He's a sports guy who hates Trump and hates guns. So not a sports guy. No, this Bob
is
Costas. You said
an anchor for. Well, I may have got the name wrong, but
okay.
It's a regular news guy.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Had his eyebrows furrowed into a V right after the whole thing happened, like he was anticipating it.
I'm going to bet you. I had a thought tonight. This is me. Well, no one will ever know this, so don't think this is fact. It's not. I would not be surprised. I'll say it this way: if Biden when he found out when Trump's going to be okay, he was like, S word. Well, I'm screwed. That's just my humble opinion. Since he didn't get killed.
The good news about the great news about this is this: Biden had his chance and he missed. He's doomed. No amount of media gaslighting and how close the polls are, or any other such nonsense about how Biden wins is going to wash. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Biden was the one behind the trigger.
Well, I don't know that, but I will say this. When they scream and chant, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up, which was denounced by the left when Trump's supporters did it, Biden didn't. It happened again at his rally yesterday, and he said nothing. I appreciate your call. Got to run, but I thank you very much, my friend. Let's go next to Alan in Nashville, our station affiliate there, WTN. Hello, Alan.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Good. You're welcome.
Gotcha. Really just wanted to, harp a little bit on just the absolute incompetence, of the Secret Service. I mean, it cannot be overstated, one bit. I mean, I'm an Army vet myself, and, they said this guy was 150 yards away from the president. I mean, we were trained from 300 meters iron sights, to be able to hit our target. And the fact that, former President Trump is alive is, nothing less than, by the grace of God. Obviously, relief that he is, but my next feeling is just anger, that he was even allowed to be put in this position. And, like you've played over and over, the minutes of people like, hey, this guy's right here, do something about it. Like, it's insane. And I feel like myself, like most Americans, we've been led to believe that, the Secret Service is, the elite of the elite. I have met some, technically and tactically, like, masters of their craft in what they do. And, this is supposed to be them. This is their job, their one job. And
I have a friend in Secret Service.
Lack of reaction.
Go ahead, yeah.
Oh, I was just saying that, just their lack of reaction time. I feel like, your average street cop, being in that situation, knowing what was going on, would have shot first and asked questions later. And the fact that, this person was allowed to set up, and to take shots, it's, it's almost like, well, hey, let's see if he hits first, and then after,
That's like, literally how it feels when you look at the video. When you look at the video and you see the perspectives that I've seen that are on my Twitter feed, I would agree with you, brother. I appreciate your great call. Thank you. One line open now. 866-90-RED-EYE is our number. 866-90-RED-EYE. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary on a very special live edition of Red Eye Radio, Sunday morning, July 14th. Let's go to Senator Claire McCaskill and what she said about this is an explanation of why. She didn't say this, but it's basically her explaining why you should kill Trump. 1 second. And here we go. All right, here we go.
Similarities between Mussolini and Hitler.
I'm going to start from the very beginning. Here we go.
A lot of people have tried to draw similarities between Mussolini and Hitler and the use of the terminology like vermin and the drive that those men had towards autocracy and dictatorship. The difference, though, I think makes Donald Trump even more dangerous, and that is he has no philosophy he believes in. He is not trying to expand the boundaries of the United States of America. He's not trying to overcome a neighboring country like Putin is in Ukraine. He is not going for some grandiose scheme of international dominance. All he wants is to look in the mirror and see a guy who's president.
So that is former state senator or U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill, liberal Democrat from Missouri. And this woman says that Donald Trump is worse than Mussolini and Hitler. Is it okay to murder in cold blood Mussolini? Is it okay to murder in cold blood Hitler? Of course. Why? Donald Trump's worse. The message is clear. Kill him. And tonight, Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20-year-old from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, 40 miles south of the Butler rally, was popped, whose head was popped in the side of the head like a watermelon, blew out his head, and he was killed not till after he got off several shots out of his AR-15 from 150. I'm going to double-check my Daily Mail reference. They have a diagram up tonight that's fantastic. 400 feet. He was able to square up on a rooftop, really just overlooking him. You know, people were saying today on Fox News that they're going to have to reevaluate these rallies. You can't keep doing these kind of rallies. BS. The Secret Service failed. Let's go next to Steve in Pennsylvania, the state where our president almost was assassinated today. Steve, you're on Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary.
Hi there, Chris. Anyway, I just want to say, first of all, I thank God that President Trump is still alive. I mean, that shattered me when I heard that, because I love that man, and I really appreciate all he's done for our country. Anyway, I'm looking at a photo right now on X, and this was a photo that was shot by Doug Mills. He was a former member of the White House Press Corps. And this is that photo I think you might be talking about where you can see the bullet in the back of, or just before hitting the back of Donald Trump's head. And if people want to see that, that is a photo to look at to verify that this was a real assassination attempt. I also want to mention a couple other very quick things. I was talking with
I'd like to say, real fast, the other thing that shows it was a real assassination attempt is a man who was in the firing range, the firing line, was killed. And that bullet was intended to murder our president. He fired 2 to 4 bullets, I think about 3 bullets, or maybe 4, to try to kill President Trump. And he came 2 millimeters away from murdering the President of the United States of America and the next president this November, Donald J. Trump. What was your last point?
Okay, my point was this. I was talking, and by the way, it goes on with the man who was killed behind President Trump, and that's this. I talked with my state representative today about, the Trump attempted assassination, and what she was saying was, she told me that one of her colleagues in the Pennsylvania State House, his neighbor's son was that person who was killed. Yes. So she was able to verify that who that person was, at least from a distance. Also, I just want to make one last comment.
I will say that this guy you're talking about is Thomas, the terrorist who is now in hell. And by the way, there are no atheists in hell. There are no atheists in hell. What does that mean? Well, when you get there, you realize, oh, crap. But it's too late. Matthew Thomas Crooks, ID'd as the terrorist who shot and tried to kill President Trump and murdered a Trump supporter at the rally with a bullet intended for the president. He's 20 years old from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, 40 miles south of Butler rally. And he actually is a graduated, let's see, I got the exact, here we go. He graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022, and he received his diploma at commencement, and he received the National Math and Science Initiative Star Award for academic achievement, meaning you can be an educated, radicalized leftist terrorist. I'm just waiting to get the trail of social media feeds, which will start getting soon, showing how much he hates, despises, and probably threatened Trump online. Last quick point, brother.
Okay, last point over here. I'm looking at a New York Post article from April 19th, 2024. It's entitled, House Democrat Introduces Bill Aimed at Trump that would strip Secret Service protection from felons.
Yes.
And, of course, that wonderful House representative, I say sarcastically, is Representative Bernie Thompson, Democrat from Mississippi, who introduced that legislation. And this kind of dovetails with what you were saying earlier in the broadcast, that Secret Service has been denied to President Trump at least increased protection. And this is just another...
That's correct. From Merrick Garland, according to Fox. From Fox News, it's Merrick Garland repeatedly denied requests. And I'm so glad that last point again you said was what was that last point again? I want to repeat it because I wanted to add to it.
Okay. The last point was this. From the New York Post, there was an article published.
I lost him. Sorry about that. Dang it. It'll come back to me in a second because I was going to add to that. I apologize. My bad. Let's go to, you know what? We're going to pause. We're going to come back. We got lots of folks on hold. We got DJ in Allegheny Township, PA. Oh, he knows the Butler area very well. That is next. Do not go anywhere, DJ. Stand by. We've got one line open for you at Red Eye Radio, 866-90 Red Eye Radio. It's Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary across America.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90 Red Eye.
Across America, it's Red Eye Radio. Eric and Gary not usually here tonight. It's usually a best of. Chris Krok filling in because of the unbelievable assassination attempt on President Donald J. Trump. They couldn't kill him. They sure tried. But he said, fight, fight, fight. And he chose to show the world that he's strong and that he's okay. And he pumped his fists. I have some behind President Trump at the rally audio, and then shortly after the president, that I will play for you in a little bit. But we got lines flooded. We're going to take your calls back to back shortly. It's Chris Krok, of course, in for Gary. And you can follow me and see every video, every audio you hear me playing and diagram I talk about is all on my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show. That's at Chris Krok Show. Follow me there at CHRISKROK, at Chris Krok Show. And watch me live on my Facebook page as well, Chris Krok Show. And follow me on Instagram as well. Okay, so we're going to just keep going, obviously, if you're staying with us tonight. Thank you for watching and for listening, I should say. And we continue our coverage in moments. It's Chris Krok filling in for Eric and Gary on a very special edition, the attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump on Red Eye Radio.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now it's Red Eye Radio with talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or just starting your day, welcome to the show from the Uniden America Studios. For Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok. This is Red Eye Radio.
Across America, it's Red Eye Radio. I'm Chris Krok in for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. This is a very special edition of Red Eye Radio, a Sunday morning live, because of the fact that our 45th president and hopefully 7th president is going to be Donald J. Trump. And I'm going to play some audio. This is a new perspective. It's on my Twitter feed. You can follow me on. You should follow me at Chris Krok Show. That's at Chris Krok Show. CHRISKROK. Same on Facebook. You can see me live tonight. I'm there at Chris Krok Show. CHRISKROK. Click on the public figure. Click like and jump in. This is a person now, a new perspective from behind President Trump, and you will hear the shots fired and him get duck and be protected by Secret Service, and then you will hear the chants afterwards as Trump he's 10 feet in front of them when he's getting ushered away with it's incredible to watch. The Secret Service all around him, so if anybody gets shot, it's them. It's just freaking amazing. And then you also see a man in front of them with an AR-15 rifle, looking around and etc. Here we go. Here's that.
Happened to our country, probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Get down! Get down!
It's unbelievable, guys. I got goosebumps. I'm showing them on my Facebook Live at Chris Krok. You'll see it. I mean, it's incredible. Here is another piece of audio. What you're hearing with the wait, and then he stops and he pumps his fist and he goes, fight, fight, fight. It's incredible. The people go nuts. Here we go. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. He is so incredibly strong. The photo of, which is on my Twitter feed as well, the photo of our president beneath an American flag coming from underneath, where the president has his fist up yelling, fight, with blood on his face, being carried away by the Secret Service, is freaking incredible movement of strength. They are terrified. Our enemies are terrified tonight that this man is going to be most likely our president. By God's grace, he is alive, and his signal is fight, fight, fight. It's incredible. A lot of us are sharing our reactions tonight too. Mine was to tear up and then pray for his continued protection and to be survived. And I was terrified because you never know about the midsection. He could have a huge, massive wound in his mid. He doesn't. He went home. This is the unbelievable thing. I think that they have helped him get elected so much more. Let's go to your call tonight on Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok filling in for Eric and Gary live. And let's go to DJ in Allegheny County, and he knows the Butler area where this attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump just happened. DJ, you're on Red Eye Radio. Chris in for Eric and Gary.
It's Allegheny Township, and I'm going to explain to you the big difference.
Okay, I trust you. Just get right to the right point, though.
Okay,
Go,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It will be when I explain it. You'll understand how
you got
it is. So Butler County is a rural county north of the city of Pittsburgh. It's mostly people that want to have their own space. They have their own land. They take care of their houses. They just want to live their life the way they want to. I don't know if this is like this anywhere else, but there is permanent signs of Trump signs. I mean, like 4x4 posts cemented in the ground, like they were meant to be there forever. And they've been there since, 2016, and they have never been taken down. There's signs mounted on buildings like they're part of the building. And again, I don't know if anywhere else is like that. So the steel mill up there is very important. They were going to shut it down because it makes steel coils, electrical coils that are outdated and didn't follow the new Green Deal. And then people from Washington came and they kept it open. They were going to shut it down, and they kept it open because of national security. Allegheny County is what Pittsburgh is in. So I live in Allegheny Township.
Yeah.
So Allegheny County is exactly opposite of that. It's become progressive. They tax you to death.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. It's
the
Pittsburgh.
Law and order's out the window. It's just, they beat on, they make it so the police can't do their job, so they all retired and quit. The place is run down with its 25 bad neighborhoods that surround it, dangerous neighborhoods. There's a murder down there, seems like every night. It's, like I said, taxed to death. It's more progressive.
All right.
Law and order. So the people up there are, completely different than down.
Yeah,
in
no,
Allegheny County. They
I
really
don't doubt
have
you.
anything to do with the city.
I appreciate your call, my friend. Let's now go to Sean in Idaho. Sean, you're on Red Eye Radio. Kristen for Eric and Gary.
Yeah, hey, first-time caller. Actually, I listen to the show all the time, and first-time calling in.
Cool, thank you.
I kind of want to raise the question of, really, did Biden push the kill switch? A couple times in the last week, he's made statements that make me question that, and made me question that right away from the moment I first saw the news. And that was in Detroit when he said that Trump will win over his dead body.
I would not be surprised if he possibly, but we can't put anything above him.
The bigger,
yeah, go ahead.
The bigger one, though, and I almost think that, maybe there should be a broader spectrum internal investigation, is Biden had said to his top donors, it's time to put put Trump on the bullseye.
Yeah, he tweeted it out. He actually tweeted it out. He deleted it tonight, or last night, but I have it on my feed, and he did say that. In fact, I have it here. I'm going to read it off, and here it is. One second. Okay, he said this, though. First, he said this the other day. Ready? Here we go. This is last week.
Most importantly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Trump is a threat to this nation.
Okay, that's one. And the bullseye one is right here we go. I have one job. This is last week. I have one job, Biden tweeted, and that's to beat Donald Trump. I'm absolutely certain I'm the best person to be able to do that. So we're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. That was deleted today, but it was tweeted out last week. So that's a good message right there about wanting to kill the president. That's not a good message. It's a bad message. Now, I don't know if he played a role in it, but I do know that he's desperate to win, and the only man that can beat him is Donald J. Trump. And right now, no Democrat can beat him. It can all change, though. In 2 weeks, the world can change, and then we're on our heels. So don't for a second get lax. Let's go now to, because this is not definitely in the bag, Dennis in Virginia, where Glenn Youngkin would be a great pick for vice president. He spoke out on Fox News earlier last night. Dennis in Virginia, you're on Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary.
Hey, Chris. What I keep pondering is how this kid knew what building to go to, and that roof would be a safe place to go to take these shots.
That's a great point. How does a 20-year-old kid know that who graduated high school a couple years ago? How does he know how to pull that off? Although he is he did graduate with National Math and Science Initiative Star Award for academic achievement, so he might be one of these smart terrorists. Ayman al-Zawahiri, the number 2 of Al-Qaeda, who I think we eventually took out recently, but he's a brilliant man. He's a physician and a terrorist. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was set up and then taken out, kind of like they did with Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, I'm also literally praying that. I was praying beforehand, but we don't have he doesn't get Jack Ruby, the terrorist. But unfortunately, fortunately, he was dispatched with prejudice. But I just didn't want to see him get assassinated if the cops took him into custody. But you can't. He's a threat, an active shooter, and he almost killed our president. And anybody not calling it an assassination is disgusting and filthy tonight, and should be ashamed of themselves. We have time for one quick one. Let's now go, and the number, of course, is 866-90 Red Eye. Art in Mansfield, Texas. You're on Red Eye Radio. Hi, Art.
Hello, Chris. Thanks for taking my call, and I'll make it super quick. I see you got a lot of callers calling in. Real quick, number one, hate to say it, but either there was a lapse in security or even worse yet, a bad actor helped them get access to the place. Number two, I'll just make 2 points and I'll get off here. Number two, if I believe you said he was only about 400 feet away, if I heard you right?
Yeah, that's what the Daily Mail's diagram shows. 400 feet away. The man he killed was in the line of fire, flanking Trump to his left.
Okay, very, very quick. That's extremely scary. If he was that close, then even a novice shooter, if they had a scope, could make that shot easily.
I would agree. I need to test my AR, which has got a sight. It's scoped out. It's got a red dot thing. So I bet you I could be that accurate too. Even though I'm not. Yeah. I'm a novice. I'm an intermediate type. I've gotten a lot of classes, but that's different. That's a skill for range distance firing, and I don't have that skill. I've not tested it out, but I bet you with what I have scoped, it'd be pretty easy. You're right.
I'll wrap this up quick. Again, I think the good Lord was looking out for Trump because honestly, any skilled shooter that wants to teach a child how to hunt or how to shoot, if they had a good scoped rifle, they could get that child shooting accurately to 100+ yards in just a handful of outings to the range.
Oh, I got to go. Sorry about that. My bad. I'm got to be a little too aggressive with the drop button there. But I want to tell you, thank you for your call. And coming up next, we got several people, lots of people. We got one line open right now at 866-90-RED-I, 866-907-3339. And I've got more audio to play from you. You're going to hear Democrats inciting violence against President Trump, and you're going to hear moments after the assassination attempt, CNN victim shaming Donald J. Trump. You're not going to believe what they said tonight. I'll play that for you next. It's Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary, special edition, live, Red Eye Radio, the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. But they failed, and he's stronger than ever.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-I on Red Eye Radio.
Across America, it's Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary. Special edition live on a Sunday morning due to the assassination attempt of Donald J. Trump. It is terrifying. New pictures showing him on the ground as he is under all the Secret Service. It looks like he's almost praying. There's blood dripping down his face onto his hands. It's just beyond incredible. Thank you, God, that this man is alive and stronger than ever. And he's a fighter, he's a warrior, and he inspires us all. He is strong. He portrayed strength tonight, or last night. Here's a woman on fake news CNN literally attacking Donald J. Trump for what he did moments after he was almost killed.
Donald Trump and the people around him perceive themselves to be under threat, and that's all that matters. That is not legitimate. That is wrong. You hear the screams from the audience. People are terrified. So
he's being attacked moments after he was almost killed, while they're still cowering over him, protecting him. And this idiot, on moments after they try to murder him, says Donald Trump and the people around him perceive themselves to be under threat, and that's not legitimate. Ma'am, one of them freaking died. I'm looking at the man's blood all over the place in the stands. I just retweeted that tweet. Follow me on Twitter, at Chris Krok Show. That's at Chris Krok Show, CHRASKROK. And you can watch me doing this show live right now on Facebook Live at that same handle, at Chris Krok Show. Let's go right to your calls on Red Eye Radio. 866-90-RED-I is our number. That's 866-90-RED-I. And let me see here. Let's go to Let's go to Joanne in Arkansas. Joanne, you're live on Red Eye Radio. Hello.
Hello. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm just, this is just so crazy. Almost unbelievable, but not. My thing is that I heard a suspected shooter, they said on the news, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy is a confirmed assassin. And I'm wondering if they have found anything else out about this guy.
Yeah, he's 20 years old. He's 20 years old. He's from the area, and he graduated. He's from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, 40 miles south of the Butler rally. AR-15s, what he used, was shot in the head after he tried taking out the president. And this Thomas Matthew Crooks is his name. He graduated from Bethel Park High in 2022. He accepted his diploma at commencement, and he received the National Math and Science Initiative Star Award for academic achievement. He is a brilliant, probably radicalized leftist. We don't know yet, but I'm guessing his social media trail is going to show us amazing hatred of Donald J. Trump and probably a lot of retweets of MSNBC and stuff. We don't know, though. So, but I believe I'm speculating he's a leftist radical terrorist, failed assassin. Mm-hmm.
Oh, very much. And what gets me is that the first thing they throw out, they've done this before with these, especially these young people that do this. They have this award. Now, I wonder if the lefties are going to use this as a sympathy card, and Kamala Harris and Biden and all the rest of them are going to sign it and use it as something similar as a George Floyd sort of thing. Because,
yes, you mean St. George Floyd. Blessed be his name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my gosh. I better slash myself with the cat of nine tails.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, somebody, they should already know something, and somebody knows this guy. Surely there have been, because this doesn't happen overnight. I heard he was dressed in fatigues.
It looked like he was, but he when he was lying there dead after being popped in the head and surrounded by Secret Service and others, he had on shorts with a belt and a gray shorts and a gray T-shirt.
That's a different kind of outfit to go sniping. And then I heard
to go sniping. By the way, and to go sniping by crawling up a building, and everybody's pointing to him, yelling. He's got a gun. He's crawling up the building. He gets up there. No, let him get up there. No, let him set up. Oh, he's pointing a rifle at the president. Let him square up. Let him pop off a few shots. But then we will fire back. That's how it seems.
Right, and I heard another report where the police over there, they're investigating this, and the FBI, and they're wondering how he got the shots off. And I'm thinking, well, the Secret Service let him.
That's exactly what I believe as well. I appreciate your call. Do we have time to pop in one more, Producer Alan? Do we need to wait? Okay, I didn't think so either. All right, we're gonna continue to take your calls throughout the show here. Right now we have two lines open. 866-90-RED-EYE is our number. 866-90-RED-EYE. The Secret Service is run by Kimberly Cheadle, and she used to be the VP detail for Biden. Her main priority was to make sure 30% of women are all the new hires for Secret Service. Diversity, equity, inclusion over protection and safety. More on that next, how he was denied more protection in the weeks earlier on Red Eye Radio across America.
Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios. Now, for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
The FBI also has announced and confirmed that the terrorist is Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20, from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, involved in the assassination attempt of Donald J. Trump. The FBI is officially calling it an assassination attempt. I cannot wait to see his writings, his online trail. We'll be seeing that soon, I'm sure. And I will be shocked if he's not a Bernie bro or a Biden bro. And one of these hardcore radical leftists who loves him, some MSNBC, and retweeted stuff all the time. We will see. Our number is 866-90-RED-EYE, 866-90-RED-EYE. It's Chris Krok filling in for Eric and Gary on a very special edition. I wouldn't say that, but this is the night of the assassination attempt in the morning of. So we're live on a special weekend edition. I'm privileged and honored to be able to do this. Let's go now to Brian in Sharon, Pennsylvania. You're on Red Eye Radio. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Chris. Hey, 4 quick things, okay? A, President Obama accused us, people in Western Pennsylvania, of clinging to our Bibles and our guns. And B, it's hard to say. Thank God that President Trump's still alive.
Amen.
And C,
and I'm one of those people that clings. I'm one of those people that clings to my Bible. Go ahead. And my guns.
And C, I'm only about 45 minutes away from Butler because I live in western Pennsylvania.
Do you believe, as I do?
I've been there many times. I've been there many times. I used to ride my motorcycle all the time, and I've been there many times. And the last thing is, the Democrats did this. And Pennsylvania is
how
now...
so? By the way, how so did the Democrats do this?
Because they've been calling him Hitler and Mussolini.
Worse
and
than Mussolini,
else.
Hitler. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They've been calling
and the media, the media's been saying he's an existential threat. You basically what they're saying. You got to kill this guy. I mean, that's what they're saying. And yeah,
exactly.
I agree with you on that.
And here's the thing: he's larger than life. I mean, he's a,
even more so now.
Even
more so now. Brian, I appreciate your call tonight. Yeah, thank you very much for your call tonight on Red Eye Radio. Let's go next to, let's see, spin the wheel. Wheel. I don't like to say wheel. It's a joke. Let's go to Ciro in McAllen, Texas, which is not too far from where I'm at in Dallas. Hello, Ciro. Oh, actually, McAllen's on the border. You're on the border. You're about eight hours south of me, actually. But go ahead.
Yeah, I am. I've been listening since 2020. I just wanted to say that the left encourages this type of behavior.
Yes.
All the times they call him Hitler and all these names and tell him he's a threat to democracy. But the only threat to democracy is when you try to assassinate a president or a sitting president or a candidate.
Or when or when the Secret Service refuses the Biden handpicked Secret Service director and his handpicked DHS cabinet secretary deny repeated requests from the Trump campaign in the past several weeks of more security for the Trump campaign. He denied it. It was published in Fox News. It was also published in the Federalist. And so I believe that a hand was kind of gently off the president to allow this. I don't know if it's a conspiracy or not, but I tell you this, DHS, Biden and his DHS and his Secret Service handpicked head are all responsible, should be fired, and should be investigated to the fullest extent by Republicans. I don't trust anybody else.
So I don't know if they're going to do anything else after this as far as...
They are.
The House or...
The
Republicans
have already announced
anything to act on it because they never do.
Yeah, but the Republicans are going to announce.
It's possible that some truth might come out.
Yeah, the Republicans have just announced that they're going to. Comer's going to do an investigation and subpoena several of the officials involved, and including the head of the Secret Service, etc.
Well, we still have Merrick Garland not wanting to show up after a subpoena, so I don't know how effective those subpoenas are as of this point. But I hope one day they work. But as of now, I mean, all this is just going to cause more tension, and I hope we can heal as a nation, honestly.
I agree, my friend, and I appreciate your call from the border of Texas, McAllen, which is the RGV, Rio Grande Valley, McAllen, Brownsville, and Harlingen, Texas, respectively. Let's go now to John in Arlington, Texas as well. John, you're on Red Eye Radio across America.
Yeah, Chris, I just wanted to express a couple of thoughts here. I mean, this thing seems like there was some plan in place.
It's a devastating crime.
He had to conceal himself somehow. He had to know exactly when, what time to get up, when to get on top of that building, and how to get up on top of that building. What building, to choose to make that assassination attempt. It wasn't just some random guy walking along and picking out a building. He had planned this out, and he seemed to have no fear of law enforcement. Like, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get on top of the building, and nobody's going to stop me. I'm going to get all the way to the end here.
And he doesn't even look like law enforcement. He looks nothing like law enforcement.
Yeah. He he didn't look like he belonged on top of that building. He didn't look like a maintenance worker or anything. He just looked pretty obvious out there. But he got himself in position, and this whole thing.
He climbed up there with his rifle. He climbed up there with his rifle in his hand.
Yeah. So how did he? So he had the stuff planned out. Somehow it was all planned out, to do that. And then the whole thing from beginning to end seemed like, from what I can remember, take about 15 seconds. By the time he got it off his shots, the time it was over, it was about, roughly about 15 seconds. So it's like somebody, already had him in the crosshairs. Let's let the guy get off his shots and then make sure he doesn't talk to anybody. We're going to end it.
That's exactly how it feels. That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah, so it may be kind of far out there, man, but it's just just a thought that kind of came to mind here, just the way it all went down.
This morning is all about how we feel. What a great call you just were, sir, and I appreciate you very much. Let's go to Dennis in California. We've got one line open at 800-288-RED. Excuse me, 866-90-RED-EYE. That's 866-90-RED-EYE. Let's go to Dennis in California. Dennis, you're live on Red Eye Radio with Chris Krok, filling in for Eric and Gary.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, brother. How are you?
Okay, I'm hanging in there. I'm just a little concerned because, Trump said he was going to staple a green card to every graduate's diploma or something.
Oh, it doesn't mean a thing to me tonight. It's all about the president alive and firing everybody that's in charge of the Secret Service that Biden's handpicked, and firing all people responsible for this in the Secret Service, which Joe Biden won't do, but we will demand it. Trump will, as soon as he takes the presidency, in January. Excuse me, but yeah. Next point.
It feels a little weird. I agree with your last callers. It feels a little staged. I bet my brother, is it going to be a boomer or is it going to be like a younger guy? I guess I lost. It was a younger guy. I thought it was going to be like a boomer or something.
Yeah, 20-year-old white male, Thomas Matthew Crooks, graduated. He's from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, 40 miles south of the Butler Rally. He, New York Post says that he graduated from Bethel Park High in 2022, received the National Math and Science Initiative Star Award for academic achievement. Maybe he poured in his academic skills into trying to murder the president, and I'm going to be shocked if he doesn't have a trail on social media of MSNBC and Bernie and possibly Biden and Democrat love and radical leftist, perhaps Antifa supporting stuff. We have two lines open. 866-90-RED-EYE is our number. 866-90-RED-EYE. I want you to be able to. You can watch me live on Facebook on my show page. Go to @Chris Krok Show, CHRIS on Facebook, @Chris Krok Show. Watch me live. I'll be on all night. Tip your waitresses, try the veal, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, enough of the humor. We're going to continue with the attempted assassination coverage live on Red Eye Radio throughout the whole evening, I should say morning, on a special edition. Next year, you're going to hear from another eyewitness news, eyewitness talking to CBS News about what he saw. Very compelling. And remember, all these Democrats called him Hitler, Mussolini, said he was worse than Hitler and Mussolini, and if that's the case, you got to kill him. And they've radicalized people. Joe Biden pulled his ads for the time being, so all of his attack ads will be silent. This is going to make for the most incredible. The roar of the crowd in the RNC in Milwaukee on Monday morning is going to be, Monday afternoon is going to be insane. And the day that President Trump comes out, he was reportedly maybe going to come out on that first day just to pump stuff up a little bit. He will. Whenever he does, they're going to roar for longer than anybody winning the Super Bowl in any stadium there is. I'm just not kidding you. All right, coming up next, we have your call at 866-90-RED-EYE. You can listen to me on my normal show from 8 to midnight Central, 9 to 1 Eastern at our one of our affiliates for Red Eye Radio, WBAP in Dallas-Fort Worth, WBAP.com. All right, more Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary on the special edition after the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
several gunshots. The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed, fell to the bottom of the bleachers. Another woman looked like she got hit in the forearm or hand. And then at that point in time, it was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks. I knew it was gunshots right away. My friend, he hit the deck. I was kind of looking around just trying to see where the shots were coming from. It seemed to me like the shots were coming from behind the bleachers. It seemed to me the man got hit in the head from behind. He was killed instantly as far.
So, yeah, and he was. Unfortunately, there's tons of blood there. It's terrifying. Let's go to Tyson in Arkansas. Tyson, you're live on Red Eye Radio. Chris in for Eric and Gary.
Hey, guys. Thanks for the call. I think it's oddly specific, the caliber of this rifle that's being used. And I'm a wizard, you see. I can see the future, because if the playbook is true and accurate, then this guy chances are going to show up to be, leftist, liberal, hate Trump, blah, blah. And then all the media is going to state how an AR-15 yet again is a shooting yet again, and we're not going to see who the person is anymore, okay? If we go back a couple years back, whenever it was, we never got the full story that I remember of some other 20-year-old that used a rifle, but he had like an $8,000 pickup and all these rifles. Man, where did this stuff come from, right? So fast forward to this particular shooter again. When that had happened, huge call, AR-15s, can't have them, take them out of every household, the end. So with this specific shooter, with this specific angle and follow the breadcrumbs all the way up to, I think that he was allowed one shot, he missed. Okay, but AR-15, okay? Isn't there a load of other rifles that are so much more accurate? So much more. So I think what's going to end up happening is this going to be turned into a big old propaganda spiel yet again. We're not going to know who the shooter was or why as much because it's going to be leftist.
You know what?
Right.
Real fast. Listen, I agree with most of what you just said there. But they followed the terrorists followed Joe Biden's rules. He didn't appear to shoot off more than a couple, which is less than the 10 rounds Joe wants us to have, which is a joke and unconstitutional. So there you go. Yeah, you got 10 seconds. Go.
Got to follow the breadcrumbs. What happened with this the Secret Service and the head of it? How she's intertwined with Biden? How that fell into place on this tragedy today? It absolutely cannot happen ever again.
I agree, and thank you for your great call and great job on wrapping it up on time for us. Okay, I've got much more audio, much more information. This is a special edition. I'm very proud to say and honored to be able to do it for you over at Red Eye Radio. My name is Chris Krok. You can follow me on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Facebook living right now at Chris Krok Show, CHRISKROK, at Chris Krok Show, CHRISKROK, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Red Eye Radio across America.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now it's Red Eye Radio with talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or just starting your day, welcome to the show from the Uniden America Studios. For Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok. This is Red Eye Radio.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Across America, it's Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary on a special weekend edition live on the attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump. Pollster, what's his name? It'll come back to me in a second, but one of the pollsters, Frank Luntz, who I'm not a fan of at all, but sometimes a broken clock is right. He says that this is going to help Trump 1 to 2%, as much as 1 to 2%, but not a lot, but it's going to help 1 to 2%, which can make or break the election. And especially since this happened in Pennsylvania, this is going to help him. And it's going to make the path longer and windier for Biden. That's no problem. The man has amazing stamina and energy. He can run backwards on his butt cheeks faster than we can at a full sprint running forward. Nobody can keep up with him. He's so sharp. But, yeah, we saw Trump's cojones tonight like never before, and it was amazing. Here's an eyewitness with more terrifying, sickening information. What he describes, you'll hear it, but I'll make sure I'll tell you what he said there after you hear this. Here we go.
It seemed to me like the shots were coming from behind the bleachers. It seemed to me the man got hit in the head from behind. He was killed instantly, as far as I could tell. And at that point, a state police and a SWAT team, started evacuating the bleachers, and then I helped carry the man out of the bleachers to a tent that was behind the bleachers.
You helped carry the man yourself. What was his condition when you were carrying him?
He's deceased. He died.
How close were you to him?
A couple yards. I mean, it wasn't very far.
Did you know the man?
No, it's a complete stranger. They put a towel over his head and then carried him off.
And you said there was another woman nearby who was also injured. Where was she in relation to him?
I believe she was in the bleachers, like either behind, above me, or just to the side of him. But it seemed like she was kind of at my flank, and then she flinched, and it looked like she had taken a gunshot wound to the forearm and hand.
Joseph, from where I was standing, we heard multiple gunshots, 8 to 11 shots. We've been hearing it replayed on the video here. Do you remember, can you tell, I know it was a chaotic scene, but at what point, was it immediately when you heard the gunshots that he was shot, or was it later on into the firing?
The first 7, he was hit and she was hit within the first 7 shots. I counted 7 shots.
What was going through your mind? You were right there. I know it happened so quickly, but what can you tell us about those moments?
First, I was in shock because I know what gunshots sound like, so I knew they were gunshots. I couldn't tell from where they were coming from. And when I noticed someone got hit, then I noticed, well, it seemed like they were coming from behind me. And it just was pandemonium. And then I heard some more shots, and I couldn't quite tell where they were coming from. But I counted the first 7. They were very loud and very close. And it killed one man and wounded another woman.
And Joseph, you told me that you're a doctor, you're an OBGYN. How did that background play into how quickly you were sort of able to assess the situation and know what happened to these individuals and know what was going on?
Well, I told the police, I tried to render assistance. I told the police I could render assistance. They had another physician on the EMT team, so they kind of took over. So they didn't really need me, so I kind of helped carry them down initially out of the bleachers. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't the man that got hit, there was no assistance that needed to be given. And unfortunately, his family witnessed the whole thing. It seemed like he had several family members in the bleacher with him. And they were quite upset. They didn't know. They were in shock. They didn't quite know what was going on. But the man was definitely killed instantaneously.
Could you tell sort of how many family members or people who knew him were with him, and what was their reaction?
I thought there was 5 people. 2 of them were relatively hysterical. So, but they were, when we took the man out of the bleachers, he went to the tent. There was an aid tent or some type of tent behind the bleachers where they took the body, and they immediately evacuated the family with them. And the 2 out of the 5, it seemed, in shock, hysterical. Like they were still trying to process what was going on.
Joseph, from where I was standing, we heard the shots.
I'm going to pause right there. The man goes on to say, according to Curtis Houck, managing editor of Newsbusters, he says that he added that he helped carry his body off the bleachers, towel over his head because it was gone. The head was gone. And let's go to your calls, your reaction tonight, or this morning, I should say, from the attempted assassination of President Donald J. Trump. And without thinking, he showed strength. He insisted to keep his shoes. After 3 requests, give me my shoes, they'll get my shoes on. They honored that. After he was huddling, by the way, there's a picture of him huddling beneath the Secret Service. Looks like he's praying with blood dripping down the side of his neck. There's cheeks. It's incredible. It's incredible. And by God's grace, he's alive, and that terrorist is dead. Now, let's go to your calls at 866-90-RED-EYE, 866-90-RED-EYE. That's 866-907-3339. And by the way, you can Watch me live tonight on Facebook Live as well, at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. Follow me at that same handle on Twitter, where a lot of this audio and video that you're hearing about is there, at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. Let's go now to Jason in Portland, Oregon. You're live on Red Eye Radio. Hello, Jason.
Hey, Chris. You know, this is a really, it's an historic day, and I'm glad you're doing a live show.
Thank you. It is.
Conspiracy theories are going to be off the kilt. You know, people are going to be coming up with all kinds of, the left did this, or, maybe it was communism or something, but, maybe it's something we saw out of a country western movie, like John Wayne got one in the ear when he was in a gun battle. He got grazed in the ear, like something you see with Jimmy Stewart or John Wayne. How many other close calls has there been with these presidential candidates that have been out there? The people with the guns that have been trying to get close to these candidates that haven't been reported. How many incidents have there been that hasn't been reported? You call 911. How long does it take the police to even get there? When you call 911,
8 minutes is the average. By the time you're dead, that's why I carry. And it's not the cops' fault.
Exactly.
It's not the cops' fault. It's just that they're not standing right outside of your door with a gun pulled out, ready to pop and drop some terrorists. They can't be there. I appreciate your call. Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody's going to remember where they were when they heard about Donald Trump getting grazed and pumping his fist in the air and saying he's going to win, because he's going to win.
Amen. Great call tonight. I appreciate you very much from Portland, Oregon. Let's go now to Dave in Kansas City in the Heartland. Dave, you're on Red Eye Radio.
Good morning. I was just sitting there thinking, I was my grandson's age when Reagan got shot.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I'm really tired of all these kids that are growing up and not valuing life, and how it's like been systemic throughout our entire culture. And I'm just sick of it. And it's got to change. And I hope to God that come time this election that, people wake up and say, yeah, bring 10 like-minded people to the polls and just get rid of these evil, satanic people in our government. I'm just tired of it. And I appreciate you stepping in. I've listened to Red Eye, and I'll tell you, I used to do the overnights for UPS, and it's just one of those things. I appreciate you guys. I really do. The one thing I do want to add,
I told my wife what a privilege and honor to be on tonight on Red Eye Radio across America. I thank you for that, by the way. What was your last quick point?
I'm just tired of everybody knowing about Biden being not capable upstairs, and yet if like Tucker knew in 2019 he wasn't right, so how is anything that he signed illegal?
Interesting point, my brother. Interesting point. I appreciate your great call. Let's pop in one more before we take a pause. I'm going to this one because I think this is absolutely correct. Well, there's two of them, actually. Let's go to this one in Arizona first. Then we got another one in Houston, talking about why this happened, which I agree with very much. Mike in Houston, we'll talk to you coming up. But first, let's go right now to Will in Arizona, the great state of Arizona, which Trump is leading by a few points at least, if not more. Will in Arizona, you're on Red Eye Radio.
Hey, Chris. I just wanted to make a comment real quick on the guy that called in earlier, said how many of these incidents have we not heard about? Well, we haven't heard about them because the Secret Service is highly, highly trained to find these people, take care of these situations. Where were they today? No one was there today. And that's why you're going to have a hard time convincing me this was not an inside job. Because first of all, the dude climbed onto a barn in the middle of nowhere.
Not a barn. Not a barn. A glass factory, and it is a massive metal work shed. It's not even a shed. It's a company. Okay. He climbed up to them in front of them, and people were pointing to him. pointing to him and yelling, gun, gun, gun. The guy climbed up with a rifle, with uncovered rifle, unsheathed rifle, and got on top of there and squared up to shoot. And everybody was yelling and running. I'll play that audio a little bit later this hour. For 8 seconds, and nothing was done. Go ahead.
They have radios. Radios go pretty quick. Hey, get the president out of there. Hey, gun. It's not that complicated. And
one of the witnesses said, I was shouting and yelling, and I was like, well, why aren't they doing anything? You're watching this, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the for 4 years while he was in office, they were trying to get him out. 4 years out of office, they're trying to get him to not go back in. So why is it so hard to believe they wouldn't take extreme measures now that he's leading so great?
Exactly. And guess what? They tried, but in lawfare with 91 indictments, it failed. It totally failed. The New York case has a very good chance of being thrown out now, which is why it's been put on hold until September, because there were too many people that were witnesses, like Hope Hicks. There was at least 2 or 3 of them with tons of testimony in there, and none of that's available now that the Supreme Court said talked about immunity, and he was doing his official duties, and he had official people doing their official duties. That's immune. So that was given and presented to the jury. And they can never strike that from the record from the jury's minds. It was rigged, and it's going to be thrown out. Now, if this judge is going to be honest, he should throw it out. That's why he's delaying it. But anyway, we got one line open right now. It's your time to call in and get ready and get in the queue. 866-RED-EYE is our number, 866-90-RED-EYE. I'm going to play you the witness who says just that, and who I'll play also the audio of people yelling, gun, 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 and 8 seconds of no reaction, and then the terrorist is allowed to pop off. And the video's out there. We've all seen it tonight, most of us. It's on my Twitter feed, at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok, Chris Krok Show. You will see a Secret Service guy who is looking at the terrorist, has his gun on him, looks up, he puts it, and then looks above the scope, looking at the guy, and then shots fired, doon, 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 and then he goes back, and he jumps, and he goes, oh, and he goes back in there. And he may have been the one that shot him, I don't know. To his right is another Secret Service sniper laying down, also pointing in that direction. Why in God's name do they allow this man to have a rifle and to climb up there and to square up? Why? We'll talk about that a little bit more coming up next. Chris Krok in for Red Eye Radio. One line open, 866-90-RED-EYE, 866-907-3339 across America.
Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Hi, I'm Jen Loomis, a transport safety expert at J.J. Keller, and I'm here to share a tip on speed and space management. When driving, you need to manage the space around your vehicle so that there's enough space to allow you to adjust when traffic conditions change. The space ahead of your vehicle is the most important and one of the easiest to monitor and adjust as needed. One rule of thumb is to allow at least 1 second for each 10 feet of vehicle length at speeds below 40 miles per hour. At greater speeds, add an additional second. It's impossible to keep other drivers from tailgating you, but there are some things you can do to make it safer, such as increasing your following distance, avoiding quick lane changes, and slowing down. There are also several things you should do to ensure that there is plenty of space between the side of your vehicle and other vehicles. Don't hug the center line, avoid hugging the right side of the road, and avoid traveling alongside other vehicles in strong winds, especially crosswinds. This tip was brought to you by J.J. Keller and Associates. Visit us at jjkeller.com.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
Across America, it's Red Eye Radio. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary. They are back, of course, Monday morning. This is a special live edition, Sunday morning edition of Red Eye Radio. Why? Our president, Donald J. Trump, was there was an attempted assassination. Now, fake news CNN tonight saying that the shooter's a registered Republican. He was going to vote this election would have been his first one, but I literally don't think that means anything. I'm being serious because he may have registered as a Republican to try to throw the election. I don't know. But if you're going to vote for him as the nominee, why would you shoot him? How would it benefit the party? I just don't think that's the case. I think he's a crazed lunatic. We'll see his social media feed. We haven't gotten anything yet. I'm going to search. If you get anything, you let me know. And he gave a $15. Here we go. Wait a minute. Here we go. He donated. Federal Elections Commission shows he donated with the same address he lives at. He gave $15 to a Democrat-aligned political action committee PAC called Progressive Turnout Project January 2021. His father reached by phone, said he's trying to figure out, quote, what the hell's going on, but would wait to talk to law enforcement before speaking about his son. Well, I'll give you a hint. Your son's dead. So look, he gave $15 to a Democrat PAC the Progressive Turnout Project. That's it. I think he registered as a Republican so he could vote in the primary or something, or try to throw the election off to someone else. Here's audio of no action as they all screamed, "Shooter, shooter, man, shoot, gun, 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 gun," and nobody did anything until the gunshots went off.
And that's a little bit. He's going down!
Stay under here.
There you go. He about 8 seconds of yelling and screaming. He's got a gun, and nobody did anything. And he's in the scopes of these Secret Service people. Why did they let him get off those shots and hit the president and kill a man, blowing up his head to the point where they had to put a towel over because basically nothing was left? The man that was killed instantly. I'm so sorry for his family. Here's a witness, though. You got to hear. This is so important. Listen. This is BBC. Listen.
And listen to the rally. Right. We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up. And probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking, I'm estimating here, I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
All right. So we're going to get into this more next. Tommy in Chicago. Mike in Houston wants to talk about why Secret Service failed. He's got a brilliant idea. That's next on Red Eye Radio.
Red Eye Radio from the Uniden America Studios. Now for Gary McNamara and Eric Harley, Chris Krok.
Yep. We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
Okay, that is one of the most critical witnesses that he was screaming and yelling, gun, 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 and nothing was done. I'll tell you what, I know why there wasn't one on every roof, because Mayorkas repeatedly denied requests in recent weeks to Donald J. Trump's campaign to get more Secret Service agents. And this is what happens. So I do blame Biden and his administration partially because they hate Trump. In fact, one of the Democrats that Joe Biden loves from Mississippi, a Democrat congressman, tried to pass a law saying that Trump loses all immunity if he's convicted of a felony. They want to kill him. The rhetoric, which I'll play more sound bites of that a little later, but let's go right to your calls at 866-90-RED-EYE. That's 866-90-RED-EYE. It's Chris Krok on a special edition live for Eric and Gary, Sunday morning, Red Eye Radio, the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. Mike in Houston has a great point. Mike, you're on Red Eye Radio. Hello.
Hello, Chris. You're doing an excellent reporting job here.
Thank you.
An experienced and assertive Secret Service detail would have insisted that all the high ground around that area, maybe 500 yards out, would be swarming with police. If they didn't have enough police, they should have called in the National Guard. I know it's coulda, shoulda, but I think that they put rookies and DEI hires on that detail.
I think you're damn right, and I'll say why. I'm going to say why real fast, and I want to hear the rest of it. Because the Secret Service head was a woman named Kimberly Cheadle, and it should be she should be fired. She was handpicked by Joe frickin' Biden because she used to be on his VP detail. Hey, was she the one that went to the gun shop and tried to get Hunter's gun forms back, even though he had no Secret Service detail protection? But for some reason, somebody came out there and did that. How much you want to bet she was the one? And they refused to show their badge and identify themselves, and they left. But her tenure, Miranda Devine, New York Post, says her tenure is notable for her abject failure to protect the agents who were repeatedly savaged by the Biden dogs over several months, to also to discover who owned cocaine in the White House. Hunter, excuse me. So I believe you're right. And her main mission was, and I have this on my Twitter feed. You can see it for yourself, at Chris Krok Show, ChrisKrok. And follow me live on Facebook at the same handle. I'm there right now doing my Facebook Live at Chris Krok Show. But her main mission was to hire 30% women to represent the Secret Service force. You are so on. You are so spot on that DEI helped lead to the almost death of President Trump. Go ahead with your point on that, though.
Well, I was just going to say, I think they put an undermanned detail that were composed of rookies and DEI hires. Half of the agents looked confused, like they didn't know what to do with their weapons. These agents didn't look anything like those agents.
One of them could not holster her weapon. One woman, speaking of women, I'm not blaming women for this, but it's a DEI hire, I believe. One woman kept repeatedly trying to holster her weapon over and over again, then put the weapon into her other hand. One of those two hands was not a dominant hand. If she's trying to holster with her right hand, I think she was trying to holster with her left hand. Her holster was on the left-hand side, which would say she's left-handed. That's fine. But then she handed over to her right hand.
They weren't even strong enough to handle President Trump either.
No, and he has a bullet hole. It looks like he has a bullet hole in his blazer. It looks like he has a bullet hole in his blazer at his breast pocket. And I believe that is one, but we don't know until we know. But it looks like it. I have that on my Twitter feed as well. Hold on. I have it on my Twitter feed as well, the picture. And I believe it hit him. And I talked to a former police officer, or at least a police officer in Atlanta when I used to work there at radio. He came on my show. He shot a man at point blank who had shot him, and he said it felt like getting a sledgehammer to your chest. And I believe that happened to President Trump today, and I believe that's why, or yesterday, and I believe that's why he looked a little weakened. Go ahead.
Oh, that's very observant of you. That's the reason why I'm saying your reporting is so damn good.
I appreciate that, sir. Yeah. I appreciate that. Well, we got 10 seconds. Go.
They weren't strong enough to hold him down either.
That's right.
They broke protocol. This wasn't anything like when President Reagan got shot. They held him down to hustle into the limousine right away. I mean, I'm glad President Trump was able to stand up and say, fight, fight, fight. Yes, but they were not strong enough to even do their duty.
I appreciate your great call, and that's a wonderful and brilliant point. And I do believe it's DEI hires, and no one should be on that detail that can't help lift him and hold him. He's a big man, very tall man, but that doesn't make any excuse. That makes for no excuses. Terrible excuses is what these are. All right, let's go next to May in Atlantic City, New Jersey. May, you're on Red Eye Radio.
Yeah, as I told you before, I heard on the news, I can't tell you what news, however you can check with Sean Hannity. I always a little listen to him. But anyway, the news said that Biden wanted to get rid of the Secret Service for Donald Trump.
Okay, well, that was the plan that was made by a Democrat representative from Mississippi, and that's what he proposed. Donald Trump would lose his Secret Service if convicted as a felon, and I do believe Biden played some kind of a role in this, tertiary or whatever, but nonetheless, at the very least, for having a DEI hire for the head of Secret Service, and at the very least for his DHS secretary, Mayorkas refusing repeated requests in the past several weeks from Trump administration to get more security detail. There should be no man on a roof 150 yards from our president overlooking him during a rally. This is disgusting. And listen, there were people on Fox saying, well, they're going to probably stop allowing him to have the rallies outside. Go take a crap in a lake, because our president has balls, and he showed it after he got shot. And he showed it, and he showed it, and he showed it. And that man's not going to give up his rallies, and he should not. It is the freaking Secret Service job, and they failed. They are losers, and they failed. And those losers are going to put some big boy pants on and do a big boy job, unlike Joe Biden, who can't do a big boy press conference. They're gonna do a big boy job so they can stuff it up their rumps, and they're gonna get out there and they're gonna get their incompetent asses, and they're gonna double them and triple them, and they're gonna protect that man. And he ain't gonna change a darn thing. I know him enough to know he ain't changing a darn thing, and he shouldn't. All right, let's go to Jeff in Chicago, where I was born and raised, and just was last week. Saw the Stones, visited with the family. Jeff, you're on Red Eye Radio.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, man. I don't know. I was born in '62. And I've seen everything from JFK to his brother Bobby, Ronald Reagan, to Martin Luther King. This country is way better than what it really is right now. I can't believe what I've been seeing. My big point is this. Donald Trump was talking, and nobody's making the point, where he turned his head to the right, parallel to his right shoulder. If he was talking forward, I don't think he'd be with us right now.
That's exactly right. I was talking to the audience on Facebook Live, where I'm streaming right now live at Chris Krok Show, and he was flanked to his left and to his right on angles around him by bleachers, and the same size bleacher was behind him where you're speaking, and the shot came from about 9:30 to 10 o'clock. From Trump's side. It blew the man's head off almost completely. That died instantly, and they put a towel on his head and carried him away. I played that from a witness earlier this morning. But that came directly for Trump. That was meant for Trump. And he turned his head to the left, and it came from the left at about 10 o'clock, as I said, or 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And that bullet pierced his ear, and it was 2 millimeters, is what Hannity and his folks were saying earlier last night. And 2 millimeters from his brain. And that guy was a good shot because the Secret Service let him get on a roof facing the damn president above him. So it was a bird's eye view from 150 yards. These SOBs don't know their butt from a hole in the ground. They don't know what they're doing. They couldn't protect their way out of a paper bag. And this is Joe Biden's DEI crap. That last listener was so correct. Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that, man. I'll tell you what. The outside the perimeter doesn't even matter anymore, right?
It's the fault of the Secret Service. Ain't no rallies going to stop because the Secret Service are DEI clowns who can't protect their way out of a paper bag. Nobody should be able to get on a rooftop that is in front of the damn president within 150 yards, pointing a gun to kill him, and almost did. He was this close. And the jerks in the CNN and the fake news has the audacity, I don't know if CNN did this, but to say it was an incident. And Joe Biden said in this incident, it was an assassination attempt. A terrorist tried to kill our president. And they failed, even though the Secret Service did their job of DEI hires, of letting the man do the job. They try to kill him. I appreciate your great call from WLS affiliate there in Chicago, Illinois, my birthplace, and my family all is there. Let's go now to Mary in, actually, you know what, Alan, do you want to pop one more call, or should we wait and take them all next? All right, let's do Mary in Detroit, or as James Brown did in his song, Living in America, Detroit City.
Oh, thank you for taking my call. I would just like first to express my deepest sympathy to the families that had injured family members and the gentleman, I think, that got killed. From my heart, I feel so bad for them. There's nothing I can say, but I just want them to know I really do care.
I do too. This family went to a rally to express their political opinions. They're part of what Joe Biden says is evil and must be eliminated. And in fact, Joe Biden tweeted last week that that we have a bullseye on Trump now. He tweeted that. He deleted it earlier this morning, but too bad, so sad, too late. You supported the elimination of the president with your rhetoric, USOB. Sorry, I'm red heart. We almost lost. I'm telling you, I'm so aghast and devastated and disgusted and angry tonight or this morning because the rhetoric of the president and his sycophants in the media, his leg humpers in the media, all of them and the Democrats was he's evil. I'm going to play some of that coming up next. He needs to be shot, one of the Democrats said. Another one says he needs to be eliminated, Dan Goldman. So much. And what's her name? Claire McCaskill, former Democrat senator from Missouri, said that Trump is worse than Mussolini and worse than Hitler. All that coming up next, and your call, 2 lines open, which is a first for this morning on our special edition post-assassination attempt of Donald J. Trump on Red Eye Radio. 866-90-RED-EYE is our number. Get in right now. You got 2 lines open, 866-90-RED-EYE. Chris Krok, across America, in for Red Eye Radio. Eric and Gary.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
Red Eye Radio Show. Chris Krok in for Eric and Gary. Let's try to pop in a call or two. First, let's go to Jake in Salem, Oregon. You're live on Red Eye Radio.
Chris, you're doing great. Very, very trying day, night. A couple of points I want to make for you and the listening audience. We go back to 1981. And, of course, that was in March of 81 when the attempt on Reagan's life occurred. But, you know, prior to that, 3 months before that, John Lennon gets killed in New York City. And then 3 months after the Reagan attempt, Pope John Paul's attempted assassination. With Ronald Reagan, he had the same deal with they had to push him into the limo. He was looking for whoever it was that shot him. I don't know if you remember that, but I do.
Got about 15 seconds.
I remember that very well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, going forward to today, Donald Trump, of course, fist in the air, and I agree with some of the people that said he was not covered very well. But here's my question to your listeners and to you. Number one, what if he did get hit? What would that be doing to America right now? I think we would have ourselves the most insane response to that. And secondly, talking about the incompetence at this point of the Secret Service, maybe it's time that Trump hires former SEALs, Green Berets, those type of people to cover him.
I got a roll. Yep, they repeatedly denied requests from his campaign in the past several weeks. Mayorkas did. If you're going to stick with us, we got a lot more coming up next. More audio, more talk of Red Eye Radio across America. Chris in for Eric and Gary.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.